Am I the jerk for not letting my boyfriend be the hero while we were getting mugged at knife point? Posted by you/super056146. My boyfriend is a big hero fanatic and does everything in his power to be like one. It's really endearing, and it's one of the many things I love about him because he wants to be the good he wishes to see in the world. But this mindset he has is why we are fighting right now. We've been quarantining at my apartment, he's not on the lease, and he suggested we go on a night walk since we've been getting stir-crazy from being inside all day. He figured that it'd be better for social distancing to go out at night. I was hesitant because we live in a bad neighborhood, but he assured me he'd protect me. On our walk, we were cornered by a man with a knife who demanded our wallets. I remembered John Mulaney's Street Smarts bit from the Netflix show and was going to throw my wallet past the mugger so we could run away, but my boyfriend started arguing with him and was spouting off a bunch of stuff about justice and how the mugger wouldn't get away with this. It looked like he was getting ready to fight. I was taken aback by this, and I guess the mugger was too, because it gave me enough time to take the important stuff out of my wallet while he was distracted. I interrupted my boyfriend's monologue and said, "Take it, just don't hurt us," and threw it behind the guy. When he turned, I grabbed my boyfriend's hand, and we booked it back to the apartment. We got home safely, and I was relieved that we were okay, but my boyfriend was fuming. He was pissed that I interrupted him from protecting me when he could have, in his words, clearly handled it himself. I told him he could have gotten himself killed. He said that he was obviously stronger than the mugger and would have won. I explained to him that the guy had a weapon and my boyfriend didn't, so the odds were stacked against him. Not only that, but I didn't want my boyfriend to get killed over a damn wallet. We argued for longer than necessary, so I shut it down and told him we could talk about it when our adrenaline wasn't so high, but I needed to file a police report while the event was fresh. He stomped off to our room while I called the cops. When I was off the phone, I went to lie with him, but he rolled away from me. The next day, he was still angry and had already told his friends and family about what had happened to us. I thought that they would be understanding about how I handled it, but they were mad at me for not letting him have his opportunity to be a hero. His mom even ridiculed me for emasculating him. I want to reopen the conversation so we can understand each other and move past it, but if he isn't receptive, I'm going to ask him to move back in with his mom. I want to understand where I went wrong if I went wrong, but honestly, I feel like he's being childish and unreasonable. I just want to know, am I the jerk here, or is he? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Tell the effing Justice League over there that life isn't a movie, and anyone who fights someone with a knife is guaranteed, 100%, to get cut, regardless of whether he trains in Krav Maga or how many Marvel movies he's seen. Ops response. I told him 100 times that a fist wouldn't win against a fight, but he won't listen. I don't understand how the people in his life encourage this. He could have died. Commenter 2. Send him back to his mother's to sulk there, because that's what he is doing, sulking. He insisted on going for a walk in a bad neighborhood at night, knowing the chances of something bad happening were high. He put you at risk. His response is childish and pathetic. How do you know it was a real mugger and not a setup to prove to you how heroic he can be? I honestly wouldn't stay with him. I don't find the hero worship endearing, it just means he doesn't like himself very much. It's tied to his self-esteem, so when you wouldn't let him be the hero in his eyes, you shattered his sense of self, purpose, and self-worth. He's also sexist as all hell, wanting to save you, dear Lord. His hero fantasy is escapism at best and damaging at worst. Wannabe Superman needs some therapy. Also, don't listen to all that sexist BS, your quick thinking got you both out unscathed. Emasculated my arse. Ops response. You know, I really don't think he'd stoop to setting up a fake mugger, but at this point, I don't see how the hell he can react the way he is, since this was a very real thing that happened to us. We still haven't talked about what happened yet because he went to visit his mom, probably to salt, like you said, but these few comments are making me reevaluate a lot about his values when it comes to this hero crap. I didn't even consider the sexist undertones to everything, so thank you for pointing it out. Commenter 3. My husband is an experienced MMA fighter. I read this to him, and his response was, that idiot is going to get himself and his girlfriend killed. Real life isn't an action movie. In real life, the safest action is de-escalation so everyone leaves unharmed. That woman was smart and did the right thing. She's the hero. Why do you find his superhero dream endearing? It sounds like he has no training in self-defense, hand-to-hand combat, weapons disarming, or negotiation. He just sounds like an idiot who wants you to swoon at his feet like a damsel in distress. It's pretty damn offensive how he regards you as a helpless female who just needs to live with him to be safe, when he does it all wrong and is putting you in danger. Ops response. The whole hero dream was hard to describe within the word count limit on this sub. To make more sense of it, it's not necessarily the Superman dream like it seemed, but more about just being a good person, cliché walk the old lady across the street, return a lost child to their mom type of stuff. He's always helping people out without expecting anything in return. I feel like that might be why his friends thought he could handle it, because he handles all of their stuff when they ask. Commenter 3. Except for when you didn't allow him to be a hero and show him eternal gratitude for saving your helpless female self. A normal person would have been relieved you were both safe and that you weren't hurt. Instead, he has been mad at you for days because you stole his chance to smack someone down and earn your hero worship. It is worryingly egotistical and idiotic. If you think about it, I wonder if you start to notice that he wasn't actually doing it for nothing, but for praise and ego stroking. Ops response. I'm starting to consider the very likely possibility that maybe he isn't as gracious as he makes himself out to be. Op adds an edit to their post. I just want to thank everyone who has commented. It relieves me to know I'm not insane. He's still at his mom's house, and I haven't heard from him, nor have I tried to reach out. All of his friends have ghosted me too, except for one of them, who is trying to mediate. If I don't hear from him tonight, I'll reach out tomorrow. I plan on updating in the comments depending on where this goes. Again, thank you to everyone for sharing your thoughts on this. Update 1 day later. So, he called me last night and I answered. He asked if I was okay and how I was doing. Then he asked if he could come over, and I said he could. I planned on bringing everything up again myself because he had been very passive-aggressive and refusing to talk about it, but when he showed up, he immediately started apologizing. Everything you guys pointed out, he started agreeing with. He was saying that he was being delusional, unrealistic, that the whole hero fantasy isn't healthy, that he jeopardized my safety and that wasn't okay, etc. I wasn't prepared for this behavior, especially compared to how he'd been acting all week. We talked for hours before we went to bed together, and everything seemed like it worked out fine. I was really on the verge of ending things, so it was a relief I didn't have to in that moment. Then this morning came, and crap hit the fan. In my comment update on the last post, I mentioned that a friend was trying to mediate. I texted that friend that things worked out, and they said something along the lines of, "I'm so glad you were able to apologize." I was confused. Some people mentioned that maybe he told a different story, which isn't something I looked into. But I decided to ask, and wow, just wow, I'm glad I did. Firstly, he told everyone that the night walk was my idea. Then, apparently, we were never mugged. Nope, apparently, I just started talking crap to a stranger on the street in an attempt to make him show he was a strong man and protect me. And the only reason we were able to get away was because he de-escalated the situation, and that it was emasculating because he was put in a position where he felt like he was forced to fight for my honor. Are you effing kidding me? To make a long story short, he tried to play dumb and backpedal this morning when I confronted him about it, and then when I pressed him to be honest, he snapped again and said, "What was I supposed to say?" The whole situation was embarrassing, and it was going to make me look bad. We argued again for a bit, but I was just done. I told him to go and that it wasn't gonna work. He didn't have much stuff, so it was easy to put in a spare grocery bag and just toss it at him while he angrily left. He's currently outside of my complex waiting for mommy to pick him up. As far as I'm concerned, I dodged a bullet. Screw his friends, screw his mom, and screw him. Thank you for opening my eyes, Reddit. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'm wondering what his plan was in putting on an apologetic act for Op while telling a completely different story to his social circle. Also, if Op is older than her boyfriend by a few years, it seems like Op has her own place, while the boyfriend still has his mom around a lot. Anyway, bullet dodged indeed. Op's response. We are the same age, but my parents aren't really in the picture. He and his mom are best friends. It was very annoying. He and I don't share the same social circle, so he wasn't expecting me to talk to any of his friends about what happened, which I'm sure he was hoping for. Commenter. You've shared more vital information. It's not typical for a man to be best friends with his mom. That's his mother, not his bro. There's a serious lack of mental growth on his part. My 34M assumption is that you're both around 22 to 25, mostly based on his behavior. Anyway, you're better off now and can enjoy the single life until someone who's truly your match comes along. Op's response. I agree, their relationship is way too close for comfort, and I think he's been coddled his whole life. We are both 23, but I'm a few months older than him. Good guess. And you're right, I'm going to enjoy my youth while I have it and not entertain people like him. Thank you. Commenter 2. So it was embarrassing for him, but it's okay to make you look like a psycho beach? Screw him. Good for you for standing your ground, just be ready, because he's going to spin it like he dumped you for continuing to be a psycho. Ops response. His friend group is really immature, so if they want to smear me as a psycho beach, that's on them. They aren't people I need in my life anyway.